What is the relation between the author and the viewer? How much of the opportunities can the author give to the viewer? There is always an issue of combining the clarity with the understandability and not making the design straightforward at the same time. Art and design should create the opportunity of free interpretation for the viewer. This collection consists of different art pieces which can fulfill its purpose only with the viewer and cannot exist on its own. There are some art forms in which the relation with the viewer is an indispensable component in the context of an art form itself. For example, performative art. Yves Klein was one of the first artists who has staged many of his works as the performances. Here is the Anthropometries of the Blue Epoch made in 1960. It was an elaborate performance for an audience, complete with blue cocktails and a performance of his monotone symphony, a single note played for 20 minutes, followed by 20 minutes of silence. Usually art in its classical concept is considered as something with a distance between the author's work and the viewer. In case of performance/happening/actionism, this distance is fading. Viewers are becoming the participants and the integral parts of the artwork. Referring to nowadays, there is Peter Pawlinsky, a contemporary artist, whose performances have become the cause of many discussions. Can actionism have boundaries? Can actionism have physical effects on the real world? These questions were raised after his latest performance. In case of actionism, there is no distance between the artist and the viewer. It is probably the most distant form of art from the classical concept of art. Because of the transparent distance between work and the viewer, it attracts the attention to the real problems. These are the billboards which were made by the British activists to draw attention to the investigation of the fire in the high-rise building Grenfell Tower. The film was an original source of inspiration. This act was made in different countries to point to different issues, and thus it has become a worldwide movement. Nowadays propaganda carries a negative connotation, but still it is a form of art, which strongly depends on the relation to the audience. Here are the examples of negative and positive propaganda. There are some special propaganda techniques that the Institute for Propaganda Analysis, IPA, has identified through their research. Many of these techniques were used in the strike made in 1925 by Sergei Eisenstein. There is a scene in the film in which the violent suppression of the strike is crosscut with footage of cattle being slaughtered. Besides, Eisenstein used animals as metaphors for the people's conditions. He has reached this effect by using a double exposition,